Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So following up on my last video on the impact of generative artificial intelligence in the financial sector, in this video I want to share with you an overview of the new set of regulations on AI that the European Union is expected to roll out in the first half of 2024, which is basically the Artificial Intelligence Act, or for the most common insiders in this field, so the AI Act. And so, just to give you some context, last week on February the 28th, on Wednesday, the Luxembourg's Bankers Association and the law firm Arendt and Mechternach here in Luxembourg City hosted a conference to basically discuss the guidelines of this important regulatory framework, as well as I would say its impacts for the financial sector. And so I was able to attend the event and to gather these insights to share them with you. And so if you end up having basically any sort of questions or comments on this, please send me a message on LinkedIn and we will discuss them. So no problem. Uh, Moving on to basically the main course, which is the AI Act itself. I think more than anything else is yet another outcome of the effort by the European Union to adopt a global regulatory framework applicable to all the AI industry stakeholders linked to the European Union in some way. And so, in this context, the AI Act, I would say, is basically a pioneer because it's basically the first regulatory set of regulations on specifically the artificial intelligence landscape. And so uh, this this set of regulations in particular sets out, I would say, first and foremost, a very broad definition of an AI system, which of course I'm not going to bother you with the specifics, but basically establishes a broad definition for an AI system, and also establishes two broad categories of AI technologies. And so, starting by the first category, which is labeled as a weak AI or weak artificial intelligence, this category includes the systems that are programmed to solve a wide range of complex problems on one hand, but are restricted to a very well-defined and limited range of functions. We can say that most AI technologies used today by most systems and infrastructures, even our phones or other sorts of technology, most of those technologies used today shall be categorized as weak AI. On the other hand, the other category is labeled as strong AI, and which instead includes advanced machines and systems which are capable of performing not only intelligent tasks, but also to think in probably more abstract terms and even adapt to new challenges as they are presented to them. And so, as frightening as it may seem, this is likely to be the future of AI in a few years' time. So we need to be basically prepared for that. And also, the AI Act introduces a pyramid of basically layers of risk, in which which is used basically to categorize AI systems on these four level of risks, depending more than anything else on their severity. Just to give you some examples, and starting from the bottom, the bottom layer of the pyramid, which is the minimal risk, which include basically video games, spam filters with AI elements. And so for these, there is no need, uh, at least by what the set of regulatory requirements of the AI Act dictates, there is no need to perform any actions in terms of the enforcement of the regulation itself. And the next layer, the second layer, second from the bottom, of course, is the limited risk systems. And so this includes basically general purpose AI systems, which perform procedures and tasks like image and speech recognition, translation, question answering, and other similar tasks. And so these systems will be, according to the AI Act, subjected to some transparency, some technical documentation, and also some compliance requirements. And so I'm not going to enter into the specifics here. The document is yet to reach its final version, but in a nutshell, this is what's going to happen. The third layer of risk is the high risk. And at this level are included the AI systems used in critical infrastructures, educational resources, employer and worker management, uh, key public and private services, law, justice, democracy practices, and systems, and related to these systems. And so, because of the importance of and the criticality of this risk, as expected, these systems will be under very restrictive, not only pre-marketing requirements on one hand, but over time they will be subjected to a continuous and rigorous monitoring. All right, and so this is more serious stuff in here. Uh, Finally, the AI systems deemed to carry an unacceptable amount of risk, which is the top layer of the pyramid. These are strictly forbidden, and these include systems that may become, in some way, shape, or form, a clear threat to our security, to our livelihood, to our rights as citizens, and even as human beings, such as mass surveillance infrastructures, harmful manipulation capabilities. This is something that is strictly outlawed by this regulation. And so, nonetheless, I must emphasize that there will be some exceptions for this clear set of guidelines, which will be basically related to the use of systems to perform, for example, remote biometric identification by law enforcement authorities. And even then, law enforcement authorities will only be able to use these sort of systems only under very specific conditions and in public spaces, for example, to grant access of people in public places, in public spaces. And so, in a nutshell, this is the characterization of risks established by the AI Act. Basically, in terms of the governance structure that will be in place to enforce these regulations at an European level, and so on a more broader and at a broader level, there will be two entities to enforce these regulations. The first one will be the European AI Office, which will basically review the most advanced AI models, foster the creation of new standards and testing protocols, as well as enforce the rules applicable to all EU member states, regardless of what member state is. And the second one will be the European AI Board, which will include not only the European Commission, because it's basically the legislative arm of the European Union on one hand, but also the national supervisory authorities designated by each EU member state. And so these designated national authorities, designated by their respective member states, will basically operate at their national level. Their role is to act as the notifying authority within their own jurisdiction, and also as a market surveillance authority as well. And so, in order to basically ensure the proper implementation of the set of regulations. And so, one of the key aspects that is also mentioned in the current version of the AI Act is also the penalties for entities who breach its regulations. And so, depending on the severity of those breaches, fines can, I believe, reach. I think it's up to 35 million euros. There are several values depending on the severity, but the maximum value will be up to 35 million euros, or up to 7% of their total worldwide annual revenue, whichever is higher. Nonetheless, of course, for small and medium enterprises and for startups, due to their relatively smaller size, penalties will be lower, because, of course, it's not the objective of the regulations put any company for regardless of their size, to put it out of business. And so, in a nutshell, this is the AI Act. And so, before I wrap up, I think it's important, more than anything else, to emphasize that this new set of rules uh, basically unlocks a new and wide range of opportunities for financial entities, as they now have a better understanding of the boundaries that they have to work with in order to leverage the use of AI in their own business for the ultimate purpose of the benefit of their stakeholders. And so, in particular, these entities will be able, or at least should be able, to improve the efficiency of their operations and their decision-making processes, as well as enhance their risk management practice, as well as optimize their customers' experience in order to maximize their revenue potential. The source of revenue, which is each and every customer, they will be able to maximize the revenue which comes from each and every customer. And so, this is the potential that is there, coming from this new regulatory requirements. But on the other hand, financial entities must also ensure that their systems that will be classified, for example, as high risk, are not only properly set up, but also continuously monitored in compliance with the AI Act. Just to give you some examples, systems to assess the credit worthiness of customers, which rely on personal information from each customer. So these are deemed high risk, so they need to be very closely monitored over time. And also, for example, in case of insurance companies, systems to determine the optimal pricing for life insurance, health insurance, which also are based on the inputs, which are basically personal information from each and every customer. And so, this is something that needs to be safeguarded in order to protect not only the integrity of this information, but also to prevent the abusive nature, potentially abusive nature, of the systems under the operation of the financial entities. And so, that is all from this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this new set of regulations. From my perspective, I strongly believe that it will be probably the first of many that will come in the future, as the AI landscape continues to evolve over time. But nonetheless, it is a very significant development towards making our interaction with the AI not only becoming more ethical, but very importantly, also safer for everyone. So, yeah, that's it. Feel free to like the video and subscribe. I'm also available on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Take care. Thank you. Bye.